Winter transforms the northern landscape into a silent, frozen expanse. But beneath that calm surface, one species stays remarkably active. Wild boar continue to move, forage, and reshape entire ecosystems even in the harshest cold, affecting farmland, forests, and wildlife corridors. Their resilience makes them both fascinating to study and challenging to manage. Today, we follow a field team working to understand their winter behavior and the impact of their expanding presence. What we uncover may change the way you see these landscapes. A pale winter sun pressed weakly against the frozen landscape as our team stepped out onto the wide, snow-covered expanse. The air carried a stillness only cold climates can create, where every breath hangs briefly in front of you, before vanishing into the wind. Out here, in a remote northern region far from major towns, local wildlife authorities work through the harshest months to monitor and manage the growing population of wild boar. These animals, resilient and highly adaptive, have been expanding into farmland and wetlands where their rooting habits disrupt crops, damage soil systems, and overwhelm local conservation efforts. This journey would not be about thrill or confrontation. It would be about responsibility, observation, and learning how to support an ecosystem challenged by an increasingly dominant species. If you're enjoying this exploration so far, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps us continue bringing you more detailed field documentaries. As we moved through the first stretch of snow, the tracks beneath our boots revealed fresh signs of movement. Wild boar remain active even during deep winter, searching for roots beneath the surface and leaving winding trails across the soft ground. The first prints we spotted led toward a thin belt of frost-covered shrubs. Approaching quietly, we saw a solitary boar nudging the snow aside with its snout, tirelessly searching for buried plant matter. Our wildlife specialist signaled to maintain distance, explaining how single animals often scout territory before larger groups follow. Observing the creature from afar, it became clear why landowners in these regions monitor boar activity so carefully. One small feeding routine can escalate into a major disturbance within a matter of hours. The forest deepened as we progressed, the crunch of compacted snow beneath us marking our steady pace. Visibility shifted with each passing cloud, creating a patchwork of shadows between the evergreens. Several minutes later, a darker shape emerged from behind a dense thicket, a larger adult boar, cautious and alert. It paused upon noticing unfamiliar movement, but showed no aggressive behavior, simply turning slightly before continuing its slow forage along the tree line. Our lead tracker whispered instructions, reminding newcomers of an important principle: wild boar are powerful animals capable of quick reactions, and the safest approach is always to maintain calm, predictable movement. From a respectful distance, we recorded its behavior, observing how it navigated obstacles with surprising agility despite the heavy snow. We climbed gradually toward higher terrain where the wind swept across the ridgeline. From this elevated point, the frozen valley opened beneath us like a silver canvas. Through binoculars, several shapes moved between patches of low brush. These were younger males, often the first to leave the herd during seasonal transitions. Their habits play a key role in how populations expand. Wildlife authorities monitor them closely to determine where protective fences may be needed or which fields require reinforcement before spring. As we documented their patterns, the cold wind intermittently shifted, carrying scents that caused the animals to pause and reassess their surroundings. Their responsiveness to even minor environmental changes highlighted just how finely tuned they are to survival. Further along the ridge, the trail transitioned into a flat clearing bordered by thin pines. The unusual cracking sound beneath the snow alerted our team. Boar often travel in small clusters during winter, and the noise signaled that more individuals were nearby. Moments later, 3 dark figures trotted swiftly across the open space. They were clearly conserving energy. Winter movement is intentional, steady, and rarely wasteful. These were likely members of a small foraging group, moving toward familiar feeding grounds. Their presence explained recent reports of uprooted soil near local pastures. Farmers in the region worked closely with wildlife authorities to repair damage and develop non-invasive deterrent systems, ensuring both crop protection and safe animal movement corridors. The path turned narrower as we descended the backside of the ridge. Snowflakes danced around us as the weather shifted once again. Our vehicle waited below, partially covered by a thin sheet of frost. As we loaded equipment and notes, the team reviewed the sightings so far. Each observation contributes to a long-term data set used to estimate herd density, migration habits, and potential ecological impact. This work is not about confrontation, it is about balancing land use, supporting farming communities, and understanding the behavior of a species that has learned to thrive in nearly every environment it enters. Before continuing to the next site, a gentle reminder from our team. If you're enjoying this in-depth look at winter wildlife management, tap the like button and subscribe. It encourages us to create even more detailed field expeditions like this one. Our second destination lay deeper within the lowland forest, where the canopy blocked most of the sunlight and the air held a sharper chill. This region is known for dense undergrowth, creating perfect cover for wildlife. The moment we stepped in, signs of recent boar activity became unmistakable: upturned soil, broken branches, and a network of shallow tracks weaving around old trees. The forest floor echoed faint disturbances from time to time as birds reacted to movement we could not yet see. Wild boar are naturally cautious in heavily wooded areas, relying on sound cues more than sight. The forest here felt alive in quiet, subtle ways. As we moved deeper, one of our team members raised a hand, signaling for silence. A large boar emerged slowly from the thicket, its coat dusted with fine snow. It paused briefly, lifting its head as if analyzing the wind direction. Moments like these show how aware these animals are of their surroundings. Their senses allow them to navigate unpredictable terrain, detect predators, and avoid unnecessary conflict. We watched as it inspected the base of a fallen tree before disappearing among the dense brush. Not long after, rapid rustling echoed through the woods. Several smaller boar hurried across a narrow gap between bushes, following what appeared to be an established trail. These quick movements often indicate that a herd is shifting to a new feeding zone. Understanding these patterns helps authorities coordinate with nearby farms where early warning systems or reinforced fencing may be necessary. Unlike many species that slow down in winter, wild boar remain active and extremely resourceful, making their management more challenging. We emerged from the forest just as the snow began to ease. Ahead of us, a wide field opened into rolling terrain lightly dusted with frost. This area is where herds often arrive at dawn or late afternoon to search for leftover grains or roots. As we scanned the field, a distant group of boar moved steadily across the frost-covered grass, leaving a trail of impressions behind them. They traveled in a loose formation typical of family units, with older females guiding the path and younger ones keeping pace. Watching them traverse the open field highlighted their determination to locate food, even in the most unforgiving conditions. Standing quietly at the field's edge, we took extensive notes on their pace, direction, and group size. The gentle rise and fall of the land created natural pockets where the animals paused, checked their surroundings, and resumed travel. Their behavior reminded us that wild boar are neither villains nor symbols of danger. They are survivors adapting to landscapes increasingly shaped by human influence. Responsible management focuses on coexistence, planning, and education rather than confrontation. As the day drew to a close, we walked back toward the forest trail, reviewing our data and discussing how the gathered information would support winter management plans. The cold settled deeper than before, coating the branches in a white shimmer as we made our way toward the vehicle. In the distance, the faint movement of a lone boar crossing the last stretch of field brought the day's observations full circle. Even in the quietest moments, these animals remain active, cautious, and remarkably resilient. Our journey concluded with a renewed respect for the balance between human land use and wildlife survival. Every track, every sighting, and every sound carried hints about how wild boar influence entire ecosystems during winter months. Managing their growth requires cooperation, knowledge, and patience, qualities that define every team working tirelessly in these remote regions. Thank you for joining us on this winter field expedition. If you'd like to support more detailed wildlife documentaries like this, don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue exploring the incredible stories unfolding in nature every day.